You just need to have like a thing where it like covers his mouth and it says like, dang,
Yeah,
dang.
I told him I was like,
Thanks.
oh yeah. So anyway, this Peter Thiel, the part that I didn't like was, um, it says I think it's Joe asked him something about what are your interests, and he's interested in AI, something else, and he's very interested in the Antichrist.
Oh, that's messed
And
up.
Joe was like, okay. They're
Okay.
like, it's not golf.
I just got scared of you.
It's like you run almost all the AI in the country, and what are you into? The Antichrist. And he was like, that freaks me out.
Yeah. Like, can we find somebody different?
Yeah.
That's wild.
So, oh, I'm gonna grab my questions before we. What I did with everybody else is just say, like, just bullshit, just like maybe not, pretty close to just like we do.
Yeah.
And then,
I'm thinking about like Joe Rogan and how he's always asking Jamie to look stuff up. I want to be like, hey, Ace,
yeah, I know. I
Ace,
figured you'd get
can
to
you
that.
bring that up, Ace?
You know what's messed
I'm
up?
gonna I'm gonna do that a lot, even though he's not in here.
He stays close. He's always
Ace,
checking.
can you look that up?
Look that up, baby. Most of the time, I have to have him look stuff up because not patting myself on the back, but I know a bunch of weird shit.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, I'm
You need
not
to
sure if I
confirm.
know it. I'm like, I think that I know
My
something.
problem is I'm afraid I read it somewhere that's not legible, like illegitimate.
Yeah. Or it's someplace that you don't want to be like, hey, here's the link.
Have you watched the Theo Vaughn podcast with the Amish kid?
Yep. Shorts.
I love it.
Yeah, I do too. You hear him? Did you see the thing where he asked him about ADHD? And he goes,
Oh, and he explains what ADHD
the kid
is.
didn't even know. And he goes, oh, man, that must be horrible. Or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and Theo's version of how to explain ADHD is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And then I'm like, man, that feels about right, though.
It's exactly, I think. Well,
I
he
can't even remember
explains
how he
it.
said it.
He said something about his mind, his busy mind,
Yeah.
basically. So I got some gifts
Oh,
for
hell
you.
yeah.
This is what you paid for however long ago.
Thank you so much. They'll love this stuff.
And then I just figured I'm just gonna give away supplements while we're on here and talk
Okay.
about them. I'm not sure if they even make Radiant anymore, but I picked this just because of Aubrie and it's a skin thing. She can check it, look at
Well,
it, and
so
see.
this Opti Kids though, like my kids love the kids vitamins, the gummies.
Oh, really?
They take those every day. They like the ones without the sugar better.
Yeah, those look
Shocker. I don't know,
nasty.
but I've never had them.
I don't think I've had them. Have you had them, babe? Yeah.
Yeah, they like them.
GABA is it used to be a big seller at the store. It's a neurotransmitter support. I kind of like to just look at all the, and then this one I found. My dad had some issues with his, went to the eye doctor or something, and so I started digging for eye supplements,
Yeah.
and I found this lutein. It's basically promotes macular health, and it's a free radical protection. So, I don't know. And then Ashley makes these hats. Agape, love. I thought I'd have one for Aubrie. And you seem like a black and white type guy, so.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
What?
Aubrey's the black and white type
Is
person.
she really? Well,
She like I ordered West
oh,
Central hats and she wanted a black one with a black logo. So it's like black on black.
well, what's your favorite color?
Hers?
Yours.
Mine? Red or blue?
All right, hang on.
Yeah, that's a
Aubrey's.
yeah, she's the anti-color person.
Red or blue, you said? I think.
Yeah,
How about red and blue?
that's badass.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
That's
Ace, can you edit that out? Thanks.
All right.
This is cool.
Good. Yeah, those are. I got one of those hats that I keep on. I don't wear a hat very often,
Yeah.
but luckily these don't have. Some of them have a ponytail hole.
Oh, well,
It's
you know, if I ever grow out my hair, at least I don't have to worry about the front because that's not ever going to be a ponytail.
yeah, right. I don't know. You watch Danny Duncan?
Mm.
You ever watch DannyDuncan.com?
No, I have no idea who that is.
You've got to check it out. It's the most. It's like this 30-something-year-old kid from Florida. He lives in Inglewood, Florida. And I looked it up last night. He's made like $50 million on YouTube, and he's just himself. He doesn't do drugs. He doesn't drink, but he's a wild card. Like he might run around naked with his emus.
My kids probably know who this is.
Yeah, it's anyway. Um, where's I even going with that? How did I even start on that?
Um,
I don't know. Anyway, you should watch.
Ponytails.
Yeah, you should watch
Receding hairlines.
DannyDuncan.com.
Is
Oh
he
yeah,
bald?
cause his like right hand man is so he's a white kid who's just a regular white kid, 33, and his Kiwan I think is his name. Anyway, he's a black midget, and they end up sending him to Turkey, and because he has a receding hairline,
Oh,
and they like implant it.
why do people go to Turkey for that? I've seen that.
I don't know, it must be like Mexico. Like people go to Mexico to
I
get
don't
their
know.
dental work done. So I've been doing introductions at the end.
Okay.
I think I'll go ahead and stick with that because by the end we're both warmed up.
My favorite song is "Keep 'Em on They Toes."
Keep them
So
on their toes.
yeah.
Who sings it?
My God, you asked me that. That's the only song of this guy's I
This
know.
is a rap song.
No, 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 no. It's like it sounds like old country, like twangy.
Uh,
My kids know every word.
Jamie, can you find that?
Yeah, Ace, will you look up Brent Cobb?
Brent Cobb.
Brent Cobb. Yep.
I'll put that in your introduction then. Just I've been trying to
It
do
will blow
really
your
good ones.
mind. You'll be like, I cannot believe this is his favorite
Well,
song.
you're the first one that told me to watch Idiocracy.
Did you watch
So
it?
I made it honestly. I think I probably made it through most of it. But it was so stupid that I almost couldn't even watch it. But it was pretty true. And
It's
so
scary. And the fact, did you know that when they were creating that show, they were trying to find like a futuristic shoe and they couldn't find one? And this guy's like, "Hey, I found this company that makes these shoes. We'll use these." And they're like, "Well, what happens if those shoes become popular?" And the guy's like, you have to see these shoes. They'll never be popular. They're Crocs."
no way.
Yeah, they wear Crocs in Idiocracy.
Do you have Crocs?
Yes, I have
Yeah.
Crocs.
What do you?
I'm on like pair number 6. I wear them out,
This
man.
is there's only two sides to a Croc, like shame and regret, or people are just like,
Pride.
I love these things. Like
Did you know that if you throw a Croc in the air, it always lands bottom side down?
I don't believe it.
It's like a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. And they have. I
they're
just saw
versatile.
Nathan Davis yesterday. I go in the smoke signals or whatever and get those CBD gummies. And I was like, "What's up, dude?" And he's wearing Crocs, and he was like, "Shame." He was like, "Ah, I'm wearing these Crocs." Which part of it was is he had some. I'd say now that I say it, I think it's because he had plantar fasciitis,
Oh, okay.
and actually, I'll tell you that story soon. But anyway, I sent him a bill, and he came out and was trying to figure out who the bill was from. And he's like, because it's under my corporation name. He just follows the address, and he shows up at our house, and Ashley's there, and he's like, "Ah, it's you guys." And it like his former employee had bought an ad from me,
Yeah.
and then he got the bill. So he's like, "Who is this?" So he shows up out there, and this is just how we always roll. He shows up out there, and he's mad. And then he realizes it's us, and he's like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And so I tell him all about what it's for, you know. And then he's limping, and he has plantar fasciitis real bad. So before it was all over, we were down on the pool deck, and I had all my massage tools out, and I was like, "You stretch your foot like this." Ashley's like, "Yeah. What about your hips?" And so anyway, I'd say that it was because we told him to be careful about what shoes to wear because people wear like Brooks or what's the big
Extra
ones,
cushiony.
Hoka's.
Hoka. Oh yeah.
Yeah, or
Hoka.
Hoka's or
Oh
whatever.
yeah. I don't wear those.
And like you couldn't even feel it if your foot hurt.
By the way,
So
I wear Limbs if they want to sponsor
limbs.
me.
Who's limbs?
Limbs, LEMS. They're made out of Boulder, Colorado.
No, I'll have to look
Oh
it
my
up.
gosh, they're the best.
Yeah, I'll have to
Ace,
have
can you
Ace.
look up Limbs shoes for me? Thanks.
Brian's gonna work you,
Yeah, I'm gonna
bro.
work you, dude.
Limbs shoes. We wear zeros. Ashley, I think Ashley does have a link, but we wear zeros. It's always the way that it was. We read that book Born to Run,
Okay.
and they run barefoot or in minimalist shoes. And it made so much sense to me because it was like if you can't feel the pain in your foot, then you could walk wrong for your entire life.
Yep.
Pain is there to obviously
Remind you.
fix you.
Yeah.
And so then I started walking on gravel actually in those hippie shoes over there, the zeros.
Yep.
And man, does that work? Because if a rock hits you wrong, like you almost walk like super, like your feet are, I don't know. You have to
So,
change it.
Mike Jennings, married Carrie Simonson.
Yeah.
He's always barefoot, and I would always kind of like joke with
Yeah.
him about it. And he was talking about how the development of your foot and like wide toe boxes
Yep. That's
are
these are
huge.
too.
That's what Limbs is all about. But that's why I got that pair. He's talking about how we just jam our feet into these shoes, and especially kids.
Yep.
All their shoes are terrible.
Yeah. And even like, and you know it works because remember the Chinese, like they used to wear smaller, I don't know if you, they used to,
Yeah, I don't know what
whatever,
it's
to
called. I can't
shrink their
remember.
foot or
Yeah,
whatever, or like basically stop their foot
yeah,
from growing. But like you see that, you ever see people's toes when they're like all on like rolled up like that?
yeah.
It's
Jammed
they're
underneath
like,
each other.
yeah. And so when somebody explained the same thing to me, they're like, no, you got to be able to like splay
Yeah,
out. And so like that, that's what plantar fasciitis is just. it's the
tendon.
muscles are just tense, and
Yeah.
they're like because your foot's like this all the time, and so the biggest thing is just like they make a sock. And so with him, I think he finally did get the sock, but you've seen him, they tie it's like a sock that goes on your foot and then it goes all the way up your shin and then it has a string right here and you tie,
See, I
I
just
don't know.
make our bed really tight,
That's
and
not.
I keep my toes up, and I feel when I try to explain it to people, I'm like, "How do you sleep?" And they're like, "What? Why are we talking about this right now?"
But are your sheets tucked into the bed or are they tucked under your heels?
Into the bed.
Yeah, so we have that argument. Ashley likes them tucked in, keep the sheets
Yeah.
tucked in, and the first thing I do is rip them out. But then I rip them out, and then I fold them
Jam
back
them under your
under my
feet.
heels, and then I pull them up, and it
Yeah.
completely ruins her
Yeah. I can imagine that.
experience.
Yep.
But anyway, so Brian, how long have I known you? Probably like 7, 8 years.
I started going to the gym before 2020.
Yeah.
It was probably 2019.
This is I was thinking this morning like this is why I feel so close to you because I've seen you at 4:30 a.m. Like that's a
There's
time.
nothing good about anybody at
No.
4:30 a.m. You get their absolute self.
You get yeah. What's crazy is you see people outside of 4:30 a.m. I didn't do it on purpose, but I would see people, they look way different
Yeah.
like when they're headed to work.
Right.
And so I'd be like, "Dang, you look really good." And they'd
Yeah.
be like,
You
"Oh,
shower?
thanks."
Oh. Yeah. Whenever I used to go to the gym in Jacksonville, I'd see people at Walmart or something, and they're wearing their business clothes,
Yeah,
and we would look at each other like,
you the same person.
yeah,
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, but yeah, 4:30 a.m. was like awesome and horrible all at the same time. That's how I feel about it.
horrible when you got there, all the way through when you left, but it was awesome the rest of the day.
That's true. Yeah,
I've never regretted going to the gym.
no. I always feel better afterwards. And I even read an article one time that it's even boost your immunity. So like when you're sick, I always have to like play that game. Am I sick or like am I at least if it's a
Yeah.
cold, it's actually better to just go ahead and move.
If you work out through the winter, you rarely get as sick as you
That's
do
true. Yeah.
otherwise.
And vitamin D, I think, is a big thing at the gym. I didn't believe in seasonal depression until the
Really?
very first year at the gym. And then I'm telling you, I had statistics to show it. Like 100 members by March 1st would be like, whatever, 65. Like it was bad.
So last winter or 2 years ago, I looked up what people in Alaska do to combat seasonal depression, and they buy these UV lights,
Yep.
and you set them on your, and it's literally like it looks like a little mini mirror, and you set it on your counter,
Hmm.
whether maybe when you're eating breakfast or getting ready in the morning, and it says like, hey, shine this in your face for 15 minutes, and it's not directly in your face; it's like at an angle,
Yeah.
no different than like the sun would be, and it's pretty remarkable.
Do they do it at a certain time of day or just once a day or
Just
whatever?
once a day,
Just
once, twice a day,
yeah.
maybe.
So
For them, it's different. I mean, they're 24 hours of darkness. For me, it was more like, hey, it's winter. It's dark out a
yeah,
lot. In the evenings and mornings, it's dark when we leave. So it's just getting that in your
yeah,
face.
yeah, that makes sense. And it's how long? 24 hours dark in
In Alaska,
Alaska?
I think it's like a month or two. It's
Yeah,
completely dark. Maybe like 30 days. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm talking about it like I know things and I don't. Ace, could you look that up for me?
Yeah, he's gonna stop even looking at us. I remember Casey Steinbaker lived in Alaska. He was like stationed in Alaska, and then Marcus Couch was up there, and
Okay.
so I'm actually having a podcast with Marcus on Friday, so I'll do that. I'll ask him. But I did a bunch. I can't tell everybody about this because I look at super weird stuff. But Ben Greenfield, he's like a
Mm.
chiropractor. He was on Joe Rogan a long time ago, and he's like a biohacker type guy. And he's big on the light in the ears. So he says what's the word I'm looking for? It's a catted. It's like the cycle of your day, um, going to sleep, waking up. What is the word I'm looking for? Cadence, not cadence, but circadian rhythm. Did I finally get
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
So the circadian rhythm, he was saying that like people on shift work or people that get jet lag, the deal is it's your ears that absorb the light. So when he said that whenever it's nighttime, the dark like tells you, and then whatever, all these hormones take over. And so anyway, all that said to say that he started using infrared and ultraviolet earbuds. And so when
Hmm.
he was like, he would fly somewhere if he didn't want to get jet lagged, and he would just like set the alarms, and the buds would come on at the regular time that he would wake up or
Okay.
whatever.
What's
Anyway,
that say though about people wearing earbuds all the time
oh,
or
good
headphones
question.
24/7?
Doesn't that drive you? That drives me
Makes my
crazy,
ears
man.
hurt when I just mow the yard, so I don't know how people do that all
I
day.
know. I don't know either. I've got some for the gym, which I do love. I got the whole 80s, the
Yeah,
big ones with the
like
like up the beats or whatever. Yeah, I I do not care what I look like. I will say that, but the feeling of having something in my ear, I
yeah,
don't know about it.
nope,
I'm not in. Not all
I
day
get it.
either. These kids are at the you check out at Casey's or whatever, and somebody will have an earbud in. It drives me crazy because I'm always like, are you listening
I
to
may or may
something?
not know people that put them in and don't actually have anything on, just so people don't
Yeah,
talk to them.
that's a good
It's
call at
like
the
this is
gym.
yeah,
Yeah, if
yeah,
you're like, don't talk to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, so you want to go back? I don't know. I know you worked for CGB,
ADM.
ADM. So yeah,
So
go all the
yeah,
way back if you will. Where'd you go to
um,
school? And
I went to West. Excuse me. Start that over. I went to WIU Western Illinois University. I was an ag business major. Um, took my first job with Archer Daniels Midland ADM.
graduated from Winchester?
Well, yeah, sorry, high school at Winchester.
Winchester? Okay.
Yep. Then went to WIU for college.
Okay.
Did the 4-year term there,
Right.
and then went to ADM. I worked there for about 6.5 years, and I managed grain elevators.
Cool. And you were in Naples the whole
Naples
time?
was my last one. So
Awesome.
I in Illinois. Um, Let me think. I started in Nyack, Illinois, over by Decatur.
Okay.
Went from there down to Mounds, Illinois, which is right next to Cairo,
Yep,
the
I know where that's
literal
at.
tip of Illinois.
Yep.
I would wake up. I lived in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, so I would wake up in Missouri, cross the Mississippi River into Illinois, worked on the Ohio River, and could see Kentucky
Yeah, that's pretty
every day.
cool.
Yeah,
That's a pretty area. I always
it's
stopped at
beautiful down there.
Paducah on the way down when we go
Yeah,
down south. Yeah.
great people down there. Um,
So, what was your major?
Ag business.
Ag business. Yeah,
Yep.
of course.
Yeah,
So
I feel
then,
like ag is like you can do anything if you're an ag major. It's
yeah.
crazy. I know so many people from college that did not do what they studied, and agriculture, almost every one of them is still in it.
What's that degree? Like, what do you learn? Is it
So
business?
the agriculture major part of it. I've got agronomy, I've got grain, or I've got marketing.
Yep.
It's kind of everything.
Yep.
And then the business side of it, yeah, you lean more into the business side. Some more of my electives had to be more business related, accounting, things like that.
Yeah. So yeah, so ag business and finished up at ADM. Is that when you went to
So
FSB?
yeah, at ADM I was at Nyack, Illinois, Mounds, Illinois. Came back to the Springfield area. That's Curran, the first exit
Current.
at Springfield.
Yep.
And then from there I went to Naples, which is in this area.
Yep.
Um, I was at ADM for 6.5 years, and then um, I reached a point where I knew at ADM, while I liked the company, that you move every couple of years. I mean, that was 6.5 years, and I just listed off 4 or 5 locations.
Yep.
Um, my wife is a nurse practitioner, uh, very good at her job, very, very intelligent, significantly more intelligent than I am. Hope you're watching this, Aubrie. Um, but my thought process is that I want her to be able to be in that stable spot where she can develop into what she wants to do. So I heard that the bank was looking for somebody and
Yep.
reached out, and the rest is history with that. I took that job in 2014.
14. Dang, yeah. And were you guys through that process? When did you and Aubrie get together? Was it
Um, so we started dating when I was at my first location, that Nyack. So that would have been 2009.
knew each other?
We've known each other since high school.
Yeah, I
Yep.
figured. Yeah, kind of a small
Yep.
small community. Cool. All right, so then started at Farmer State. Did you start in Pittsfield?
No, so I trained in Pittsfield for about 3 months, but I was hired to be the loan officer in Winchester.
Perfect.
Um, it really worked out well. My last elevator was that same market, so I already growing up there, and
Yep.
B, the people I didn't know from growing up I knew from the grain elevator time.
Yep.
So it really helped. One thing I took for granted, I think, knowing someone's finances is significantly different than being the guy that buys their corn and beans.
Yeah, I bet.
I thought, oh man, that guy, he's going to want to be my customer all day long. And then after I went to the bank, I'd go out there and they looked at me like I was a completely different human.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, like I have to earn my way again
Yep.
for these people.
Yep.
That was a little bit crazy. That was just a different feeling. The cool thing is the majority of those people have come around, and I've worked with them now for 10 years, and it's
Yep.
a stronger relationship than we had before.
Yeah, and I feel it. I've done so many different things that I feel like Probably a special case in that I've switched a bunch of times, but you almost have to. I notice when you come back around, you're like, people are like, I'm just gonna wait and make sure that you're gonna be here in a couple years
Yeah,
or
and
whatever.
prove your worth.
Yeah, exactly. Like what? Like how are you better than? And that's something with the bench boards that I've had to think about is like, what makes this better? You really have to sell it because it's really an old thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And yeah, a lot of times it's just like I think people are
One second,
skeptical
I've
and
got to turn my phone off. This
oh
thing.
yeah,
Sorry,
no, you're good. Yeah.
I just kept rejecting it. And I'm like, all right, I'm on number 4, so
Yeah, we can stop it
edit
for
that
five
out.
minutes.
Sorry, Ace. He's not even.
He does such a good job. He just paces out there and
I
he
know.
watches that thing the whole time. I've got an idea. Am I ready to present this? I don't know. Ace, cut this out, and then we'll know Brian was the first one to ever hear it. I'm not gonna make you sign an NDA, but
Okay.
um,
I
I have
haven't
this.
taken any drugs, have I?
uh, anyway, I want to do when we do an actual podcast, which will be like in a little while. I've had this idea forever, but I want to build a 10 by like whatever time, whatever size it is, a small unit with fork pockets and the inside soundproofed and all the tables with backdrops, interchangeable backdrops, and like whatever the things I can't think of, and put fork pockets in the side so you can like set it on a slab. So I want to do that here at the hotel in the back. But as I'm doing it, I'm systemizing for people to rent them through an app. So like if you have an online meeting or like
Okay.
you want to do some TikTok crap
Yeah.
or whatever I don't know what all the new stuff is. But I do know that podcasting, everybody would love to start a podcast. And if there was like a production studio already ready for you to like plug your laptop in and all that.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to have a podcast studio just like that, but the next business off that would be like, hey, we've already scaled this. Here's the app. Here's the podcast studio. Here's the brand. Start your own business. And then,
Well, and you also, I mean, you could almost kit it out and be like, hey, if
yeah,
you have all you need is a 10 by 10 room
yep.
and here's all the equipment you need, here's the setup, you send it to them, they put it up and it's done.
That's what I want. And at Calendly or like whatever you wanted to use, like scheduler. So like
Yeah.
they just literally get on and schedule an hour in there and it says it's whatever it is and they pay through the calendar. I want to make it just as streamlined as possible. But I'm with you. Like have a cleaning lady signed up.
Right.
So 30 minutes after this person leaves, do it real, you know, like
Right.
somebody comes in and cleans and resets the room and then it's ready for the next
See,
person.
that's where,
So,
and not to dive into something that we haven't already been in, but we're in a very rural area. And when people want to start businesses, you really want to help them.
hmm
But you have to find a way that you're not dependent on the local population.
yep,
I mean, I was part of that grocery store in Winchester, and I found that foot traffic businesses are extremely difficult. You're going to get your regular, I mean, towns that are really small, you're going to have 5 to 10 people that come by every day.
yep,
Okay. That's not enough to make it work.
no,
So then you need another 5 to 10 that just drop in. Well, there not enough people come through these towns to get that. You have to find something that's scalable where you can pull customers from a wider area that don't necessarily come through your town. It's extremely difficult.
yep. Y-
Um,
Yeah, and you have to have like a direct way to communicate with your customers,
right.
which has gotten weird. Like I've noticed on Facebook, if you don't pay for ads, they throttle you. And like we've done all these different things to try to figure it all out. And so it kind of sucks. So then you have this group or whatever, but you're still not reaching those people. So
Because
then
it gets buried in
it
their
yeah,
newsfeed.
they just kind of
Yeah.
get lost. And it's like, but if you pay, then it work. I know it works if you pay for advertising on Google. You know how it works, like Google Maps, anything
Yeah.
like that. But it's like you
But
don't
you
have a
pay for
budget.
advertising in that market we did. We
Yeah,
pay for advertising. We have people from St. Louis.
yeah,
They're like, "Hey, the food you're serving for lunch today looks good. Where are you guys at?"
yeah.
And we're like, we're 2 hours away. That's not going to work."
It's tough to, and then you have another expense. You're like, yeah, I need to keep my name out there, but also like with the hotel, for instance, you basically just would have to add a certain cost per night per room for that. Be like, it's going to cost me $20 on Google to get somebody to stay here. So, you
And you
know,
have to be able to track what's the return on that
yeah,
investment. If it's not returning anything, if you can't prove that it's doing anything, it's just wasted money.
it is.
Marketing's tough.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
and it's like, and your whole, I feel like your whole business, if you're doing it on your own, is just trying stuff out,
Right.
trying to isolate
Right.
things and be like, okay, did that work? Anyway. Yeah. So yeah, you and Aubrie were together on the last job you said, or on
Well,
the
like so
first job.
the first
You guys
location
have been
of
together
my
for.
first job, yeah. So we started dating then, and Then I moved to Southern Illinois. She was finishing college. And then when I moved back to Springfield, we started living together. And we
Yeah.
got married shortly after that.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So you got with Farmer State, and like Nevin was, uh, man, I think Nevin was maybe like the second one that I sent the bench board, like
Yeah.
sales email
Yep.
to, and it was like the next day he's like, "Yep,
Do it.
I'll do it,"
That's
and
awesome.
I always
I was excited
appreciated
to
it.
hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always like, "Dang, this dude is like straightforward." I guess he didn't short email. Yep, sounds good,
Yeah.
and I was like,
No,
"Man,
no wasted energy on
no,
that. Yeah.
no." So we'll break into these questions. Zach came in yesterday and he had like them all written out. Do you have a notes page or anything?
No.
No. Good.
No, I'm going to go off the fly. So his was going to be significantly better than mine.
So you're familiar. You're like you're on my group text. So I'll like read weird stuff, Enoch or whatever, and then I'll blast you guys with all weird
Yeah.
information. So you know about the you versus you already. You know my
A
theory.
little bit.
All right. Have you? Or I was thinking yesterday. I
Give
was
me your
thinking.
briefest summary on it so that way I don't take this the wrong direction.
Yeah, I was thinking yesterday I could have done it better. I'll try to do it better today. So you versus you. I look at it as like I read a book called The Untethered Soul, and he says like everyone has that voice in their head, but you're not the voice. You're the one listening to the voice.
Hmm.
And so that aligned with a whole bunch of our research into like what's the subconscious mind, and basically like things happen in life and you end up storing those in your subconscious, which I would refer to as little you. So like
Right.
that's the voice, and the voice says things like, they probably meant this, or you'll probably fail, or you shouldn't do that because you could get hurt. And so I think it's an innocent thing, but it's basically been trained by you through failures and previous experiences and stuff like that. So it's there to protect you, but it probably holds you back more than anything. So it's like you're the person listening to the voice. So my whole theory is you have to show little you, the little bitch, that you're in charge. And what I'm seeing is as you look at successful people, like they maybe not in that way, but
Oh,
they understand it.
yeah.
Like,
So as a probably looking back to like junior high sports,
yep,
I was always that. I was a starter, but I was the fifth guy in basketball. Like I was always at risk of losing that spot to the sixth
yep,
guy. And then quickly found out in high school that I was actually like the 10th guy, right?
yep,
Uh, so just to bring it to an analogy to sports, I was always like that fringe person. I didn't have that natural gift. So whatever I had, I worked for,
yep,
even if that meant, in football, I would lift 6 days a week
yep,
to get to be the guy who started, but I was never the guy.
yep,
And then I would watch, some of the best athletes on the team that didn't work out all summer that would put up big numbers, and it's like, man, this is crazy. Like
it's,
I'm working my tail off to be able to block for that guy, and
yep,
it's wild. So for me, I've always had this slight feeling of you're not the best at this. You're not as capable as maybe somebody else, and it's really easy for that to block and make you not even try.
100%.
Um, so I would say a big moment for me with that is when I actually left ADM because I'd proven myself there. I was managing a facility. That facility did 15 million bushels a year, and we ran that much grain through there. I had grown it in an environment that was probably supposed to be getting smaller.
Yep,
It was successful, and then to take a risk like going to the bank where really didn't have any financial background other than being an ag business major. I was jumping into banking like I don't know if I'm going to be good at this.
yep,
I knew that I could talk to people and I knew that I knew the customer base, but what happens if I'm a risk taker and I shouldn't be? What happens if my mental approach to this isn't good?
yep,
I would be begging for my old job back.
yeah. I
Um,
bet you a ton of people can feel that.
yeah.
You know what I mean? A ton of people have been
Well,
there.
I had a family.
Yep, yep. You feel that weight.
I had the levels of stress that whenever we had our first kid, I was almost having stomach issues for a while, like cramping in my stomach. And I finally realized it was like, this is the first time I've been responsible for a human being.
Hmm.
That was crazy to me.
It is. It's a weight, and it's like you're not sure if you're ready.
Right.
I think what's
No, you're definitely not ready.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, well, I think I can handle this, but you really have no idea.
Right.
And yeah, it's definitely, and I think that's probably why people that me and Ashley were talking about this the other day, that you get to a certain age, you just didn't have any of the experiences
Right.
before. You're gonna be wiser
Right.
because you're
You're
just,
gonna learn.
yeah, you just look like that's like super successful people learn faster because they like, just like you said, they just go head into whatever's coming versus wait for the struggles because you grow every time you
Yeah.
struggle. So it's like, what's that? My favorite thing is like the buffalo. They say the buffalo is the only animal that he knows the fastest way to get out of the storm is just to turn
Hmm.
into it and just
Yep.
walk out the other side.
Right.
And yeah, I know tons of people are gonna feel that with, okay, I gotta. Did you guys had a kid already?
When I changed,
Yeah, when you
yeah.
changed. Oh
So
man,
we had
yeah.
a kid in 2013, and then right after I came to the bank, so I came to the bank in August of 14, and we had another baby in July of 15.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're pretty close, right? Like a
Yeah, they're
couple
about
years,
2 years. Yeah.
2 years apart. Yeah,
Yeah. So no, that
that would be big.
I just needed to, but to me, that's also like the trigger of you might not be able to do this. You might not be the best at it. So that triggers for me to say, okay, then I need to outwork
Yeah,
somebody else.
yeah.
And my teams in school weren't very good for the most part,
Uh-huh.
especially junior high. Like my class, we got beat a lot.
Yep.
And a friend of mine's a salesman for Sloan or a manager. And we always joke that the reason we're good in sales is because we got our butts kicked so much that
Yeah.
like being told no, we're like, ha, you think you got me? Like I've been getting kicked around this place my entire life. Like, let's go.
Dude, I can actually speak to that big time because I've been trying to sell these bench ads for like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And I guess I've been in sales before, but it's different. I was talking to Shane Chaplin about it one day. You got to have, if you find a dude that's made a bunch of money in sales, he will be the most confident dude you've ever met because you've heard so many no's and like so many
Yeah.
people are like, don't get out of here. Like Shane
Yeah.
even told me a story about walking in. The lady's like, are you a salesman? Blah blah blah, and like mother effed him. And he's like,
Yeah.
I was like, have a good day. He said they ended up being his customer a couple months later, but he goes, I don't even remember what song it was, but he goes, I don't care. He goes, you can tell me no 50 times a day. I just need one yes. He goes, when I hear no, I get in the car and he turns on some particular song
Yep.
and just drives to the next one.
And see, like my thing is I can handle the no, and I look for the no as quickly as possible.
Hmm.
Because if you're gonna tell me no, like the best thing for me is for you not to waste my time.
Yeah, and yours and his or
Um,
whatever.
you got to beware of the nice guy who's incapable of the no, but they're also gonna string you along for months.
Yeah.
Um, however, I do try to get better at the people I approach. I'm
Yep.
not big on just, hey, I'm gonna call 100 people and hope that two say yes.
Yep.
My thought is like, what do these two people have in common that I can track and then approach similar people
Yep.
who maybe have the same issue that I can work with? So, maybe doing a little bit more legwork up front so I'm not getting as many no's, but I'm not scared of the no.
Yeah, man. That is I've got so many places I could go with that
Yeah.
to like doing the research to people because you
Yeah.
make a mistake and then you're like, dang it, I can do better than that. And
Right.
so then you start just learning.
Yeah.
That's kind of a masculine thing, I think, too. It's on but like you just statistically, you're in the logical mind. You're like
Right.
gathering statistics,
Right.
like, well, that didn't work. This worked,
Well,
you
and
know?
then what's bad, for me, it's I know I can help somebody,
Yeah,
right? So now it's not like you're not a snake oil salesman.
yeah. Well,
You
and a lot of
you're
times
gonna do a good job,
you're like, I'm sorry, I actually didn't explain that well. Because
right?
most of the time it's just refining. They're like,
The
ah,
delivery.
I sucked at that.
Yep.
I'm not even sure you knew what I was talking about, or like
Yeah.
how you understood my scenario. Or, I'm so big on analogies that I'll spit out these wild analogies that make so much sense to me,
Mhm.
and then people are just like, well, I don't know how a car engine works. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, well, that
Right.
was just for me. It
Right.
wasn't even for
Right.
you. Pike County gave you one bench to put your message on. What would it say? So like imagine your words on a park bench for everyone to see. Personal,
It
business,
would be like
anything.
a really small font paragraph because I can't just throw out one liner and be
Yeah.
done with it.
Hey, like,
Yeah. Hey, you're gonna have to sit down for a minute at this bench and read my paragraph.
yeah.
Um, I just feel like there are no shortcuts.
Yep.
And if you think you found a shortcut, it's going to bite you later. So whenever like we talk to our kids and stuff, it's like, what you get tomorrow, you worked for today.
Yep.
And my analogy to that is like growing trees. I love to grow trees, and I know that I'm not going to enjoy that tree for 20, 30 years.
Yep.
So I think about that all the time, is like, what can I be doing today that will benefit me tomorrow?
Yep.
And that's just a work ethic.
I freaking love it. I read
So
a
again, there's my paragraph.
I love it. I read a thing one day that it was I'm into the spiritual stuff, but it literally made that exact point. It says that a lot of times what we do is we go around and plant apple trees while everyone else is planting corn. And then when they're harvesting their corn and showing you about their big harvest, we're pissed and we're out there cutting down the apple trees when we should just be sitting back and waiting for the big crop.
Tending to the apple trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, apple trees. That's a, these are my
Right.
analogies. You
Yeah.
know what I
No, I
mean?
get
I
it.
read it and I'm just like, oh man, I totally do that. If you
Yeah.
don't get that instant gratification that you wanted, then you're out there like, well, screw you.
Yeah.
I'll move on to,
Well,
you
and
know.
to be patient and do that doesn't mean you stop wanting instant gratification.
No,
Like, it is a daily
it's just
battle.
that you just beat the you every
Well,
day.
and when I talk to my customers a lot, if they're not having the progress they wanted right away, I have to remind them that typically the right decision is the boring one.
Yeah.
And people don't want to hear that. That's not much for, getting people excited. But if you do the right thing all the time, it's usually the boring thing.
It is.
And then eventually that pays off big dividends. It's like, putting money in an investment account or retirement. Yeah, it's a couple $100 a month, and for the rest of your life, it's boring. It doesn't move very fast. But the next thing you
Yep.
know, it's 15 years later, and you have this massive amount of money that you put away, and you're like, oh, wow, okay, now I see it.
Yep. I say that. So compound interest is like is always my biggest thing. Like compound interest is always working. So if you suck, you'll compound down. Like
Suck even.
it'll just grow.
Yeah.
And it but if you just do something, you know, like
Yep.
if you just do something every day, it is gonna grow. And like you said, it's gonna be a huge snowball.
Absolutely.
You know. Yeah, and I know that for a fact because I know all your guys' theories about shortcut
Oh yeah.
and long cut and all that, and I freaking love it.
Yeah.
It's it's awesome. Yeah, the little things every day. That's what I was saying. I stick on the you versus you. It's like it's not so it's very simple, but it's not easy. Is
Right.
what I was telling people. Like it's not a rocket science. You just got to do the exact same thing every single whatever.
Going to the gym, it's literally
Yeah,
everything in life that people can't do. Like
like
99% of the population is incapable of doing those things. I am most of the time.
yeah. Yeah, well, in the lower, even in the spiritual stuff, like you look at like what's your higher self and what's your lower self, what's your capital Y and lower Y, is like the lower self is like emotions, and that's what gets involved. Is like it has nothing to do with could I do it today or do I want? It's
Yeah.
about like my bitch is saying I don't want to do that today. Like
Right.
it's so boring. I
Right.
was like,
Duh.
do it again.
Yeah. I got nothing out of this. Yeah. Why do I keep doing it? Yeah.
Do it again and again. What daily discipline? What daily discipline or routine has made the biggest difference in your life?
So I wouldn't say it's daily, but I'd say multiple times a week. We sit on our front porch with our kids and call it a family meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and we just sit there and we talk about stuff. And it's crazy. You have to talk to somebody for a while before you actually get anything out of them.
Yeah.
You can't, there's so many like not genuine conversations that people have every day. How's the weather?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times are you going to talk about the weather today?
I know.
And it means nothing. But like, then you look in your own home, and if that's the type of conversations you're having in your own home, like, what did you do to have that relationship with your wife or your kids? So, and this isn't really a me thing. This is my wife. She's all
Yeah.
about that family meeting, and we go out there and we sit out there for an hour. And that's why it mostly happens on weekends. Occasionally, if we're all up early enough during the week or in the summer, we'll do it a lot. And we'll drink a little coffee and sit out there and just talk. And all of a sudden, the kids start talking more and more. You start
Yeah.
talking more to your spouse. And then on top of that, every time we eat dinner as a family, which gets more and more rare, it seems like, with sports and getting home at 9 o'clock at night, we call, my wife and I call it a shit sandwich. Our kids, we call it good, bad, good with them. And they have to tell us something good about their day, something bad about their day, and then something good again, because you always got to
Dang.
finish on a good. And the amount of information we've gotten from our kids during the bad part
Yep.
is wild.
Where you're just like, oh,
Well, like you just don't know. Like they had something really bad happen to them that day, and if we not done that activity, we would have never found out about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't that you guys are so good at scheduling stuff like that? That's definitely something that I've looked up to you about. Was like, it's got to be you got to plan it. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't just
Well,
happen.
we're planners to a fault. I mean, that's how we've operated. Not a
Yeah,
lot of people would like how we operate like that. I mean, from trying to have kids to every little thing, but Aubrie and I both work better when we feel like we're in control of a situation, even if we're not.
yeah,
It just feels that way.
yeah.
Makes us we sleep
Everybody.
better at night.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say everybody's kind of that way,
Yeah.
but yeah. Yeah, that we weren't good planners, and it's probably just like everything. Like you just got it's a balance because like
Oh yeah.
maybe you think you take that too far, and I definitely think that I take being without a schedule too far. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I resist it at all costs. Like I
Right.
don't want it. I have to be doing
I'm jealous of that.
whatever I want all the time.
Yeah.
But that's a problem when you're trying to build something.
Right.
So I've gotten way better. That's actually probably been my biggest discovery about myself is that I'm actually just a creator. Like I'm not really a boring like schedule. I'm not. I am with weightlifting, but when it comes to business, I have a hard time delegating. And if I do it all myself, it never finishes.
Well, and you get
So,
more out of the creation of that business venture than you do the actual running of it later.
yeah,
Like
I
once
it's
it
so much
becomes
fun.
self-sustainable, then it's like, okay, I want to walk away.
Yeah, that's another definitely I would call that what's Ashley called them self-sabotaging energy in me is like I just get bored. You
Well, the
know what I
problem
mean?
is
And I was
like
like,
just like your benches and stuff is like once the business are actually turns profitable, that's when you get bored with it, right?
Isn't
Like
that so crazy?
you live for the struggle.
Yeah, I
Like
like want it to suck because
yeah,
every time it sucks, I always learn
people
something.
stop doubting me, I'm done.
It's
But
how,
yeah,
yeah, and it's almost like they say that Andrew Tate talks about creating so with our kids, we should have done more of that because now that we're like kind of whatever healing the family, you're like they'll tell you at a certain point, they're like that was a low spot,
yeah,
and I'm like I didn't even know,
yeah.
and you're like you
Oh,
know,
honestly, there's nothing worse as a parent than doing something and thinking that's going to come back up later.
yeah,
Like
knowing it,
they're going to remember that, and I screwed up. I totally missed the
yeah,
point on that one.
yeah, yeah, that happens. I have to let it go as fast as I can. But
Right.
there's certain moments where you look back and you're like, ugh,
Yep.
I really pulled a boner on that one. How do you balance building your work with caring for your people?
I don't. I try my best.
Yeah,
And then I try too hard in both aspects. So I constantly have challenges inside
yeah,
of I'm not doing enough for my family. And then it's like, hey, I'm overboard on my family and I'm not doing enough at work. So I have to reestablish, like it's a big juggling act
yep,
and there's balls everywhere and
yep,
they're getting dropped. I think the thing that I have to do is forgive myself
yeah,
and just be like, hey man, I did my absolute best. And if that's not good enough, like that, it is what it is. We just have a hard time I can't let other people down. Like it's almost like I'm okay with letting myself down. It's the people around me that really bothers me.
yep, yep. Yeah, we can all feel that. I listen to this John McPhee, and he's actually the last person. I'll go two sides. John McPhee is a Delta operator. They called him the Sheriff of Baghdad.
Okay.
He did a bunch of solo missions where he would just get in a taxi in Iraq and just drive around, and he might pick up a bad guy and just take him back rather than have to fight it out. He might just be able to drive him to where they wanted him or whatever. Total savage, like
Yeah.
whatever. And but I don't know how deep he is. I think he's actually super deep, but I love what he says because it doesn't matter how deep you are. You can be on the surface or you can be Yogananda. He says, let it go. That's it.
Yeah.
He goes, none of my guys had PTSD. He goes, you know why? Because I taught them when those thoughts come up, let it go. And he goes, you say let it go inside your head like 10,000 times over 6 years. You think you're going to let it go? And I was like,
Yeah.
that's huge. I
Right.
was like, that is crazy. And that's the same thing. That's the hardest thing with me is like to forgive yourself. Like I did my
Yeah.
best,
Well, to
like,
correlate it to, I coach a lot of sports, youth sports, and I think about this more in softball than anything else. But I always when I have a kid pitching and they something goes wrong, whether it's an error in the field that's not their fault or they walked two people. Um, I'm like, okay, they're like so right now that already happened.
Yeah,
The only thing you can do is control what happens going forward. So if you
100%.
get mad about that and let it melt you down, you're going to do it again and again.
Yep.
If you choose to let that go and not worry about that, you have a chance at going forward and being successful.
Yep.
And, teaching that to 10, 11, 12-year-old girls is a challenge.
Yep.
But I worry more about that stuff than I do the wins and losses. It's like teaching them to say, hey, I'm in control of this.
Yep.
And a meltdown at this moment is only going to make things worse.
Yep. And I think those are the exact moments that stuff gets stored. That's what I keep talking about. Like in what was it, like 8th grade? So my grandpa died, and then I had a torn hamstring on the right side, I should say, which is the masculine side. And so I was going through stuff, and we had got second at state in 7th grade, and so I went to eight. So then this was 8th grade, and so we're expected to go back to state or whatever. And I tore my hamstring. So I kept trying to heal it. And I went into the coach and I was like, I'm just gonna quit. My hamstring's frigged.
Yeah.
And he took me, like, he broke me down. And that stuck with me in a bad way. And so I love hearing you say that, because it was like if somebody would just been like, yeah, whatever. I never played sports again after that. I
Really?
never No, that was
Yeah.
it. And so that's important.
Yeah.
You got to teach a lesson, but maybe the lesson is just like do better.
Yeah.
That's my lesson to me, is like that
Or don't let
sucked.
it drag you down.
Yeah, that
Like,
sucked, but it's been past. Like,
right.
I'll just do
You
better.
can't change that. You've effectively got to a spot where you cannot change it.
Yep.
All you can do is affect
Yeah, you're just like,
work on
okay.
your attitude towards going forward.
And that's the message of religion, and everything is always the same. It's always like, but that's the thing that me and Ashley have found is like, yeah, ask for forgiveness, but like, but what about you? Because
Yeah.
that's where I was at.
Yeah.
I just was finally like, wait a minute, I was a kid.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
whatever. If you could gift one experience from your journey to our listeners, what would it be? Leave a tangible lesson, resource, or story for the audience. This one is going to be awesome. I want to do shirts at some point. Your paragraph was perfect, because I want to do shirts that has like these lessons on the back.
In small font.
Yeah, just
Takes
over
little,
like
yeah.
over like
No use
50,
shirts.
100
Yeah.
podcasts. Just be like,
Random
yeah,
stuff. So one lesson that I would gift, you know, I just keep going back to like during COVID, we were all at home. And I saw, I think it was a meme, and it said, when you come out of this, are you going to be better or worse? And up until that point, I'd been looking at it like, this is a vacation. I mean, we were only a week and a half, 2 weeks in, right? It wasn't a lot.
yeah,
Um, and I thought about it, and I was like, okay, so like I'm in control of my own destiny. I decided at that moment I'm gonna utilize that downtime to get my MBA.
yep,
And I didn't have a plan for that MBA. I didn't even really know if I needed it. Up until this point, I've used a lot of what I learned from that MBA, but I've not actually used the piece of paper.
yep,
Um, so 2 years later, I had it, and now I look back and I'm so proud that I did that because I don't know that there's going to be another point in my life where I have the ability to time wise to do that. So for me, it's just, looking at there's always an opportunity, even if it looks bleak. I say the same thing for grain marketing for farmers is even when the market's down, there's opportunities in there. You just got to find it.
yep,
And sitting back and letting the world happen to you should never be an option.
nope. Well, yeah, Tony Robbins says it best. Life doesn't happen to you; it happens for you.
Right.
And it's like, it's just perspective. That's
Right.
that's perfect. Yeah, yeah. There's always someplace to grow.
Well, I was talking to my daughter about junior high basketball, and I can always. This was my problem when I played. I felt like the game was going so fast that like I was always reacting.
Yep.
And I finally told her, I said, look, you need to have a plan on what you're doing. And then I said, if while you're executing your plan, something else happens that becomes a better option, you can still take that.
Yeah.
Now you're reacting. If you let things happen to you, you're reacting in a bad way. You're playing defense all the time. And as I'm talking to her about this, my wife's like, is that like a financial analogy? And I'm like, whoa.
You're like, I am that guy.
Yeah, well, but it's true though. It's like you've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan and you're just letting things happen to you, you are failing
Yep.
to the point where you can't recover. If having a plan doesn't mean you have to stick to it. It just
Yep.
means you have a direction you're going, and then there might be better options that pop up,
Yep.
and that's okay.
Yep. Me and Ace talk about that. Finding the balance between that is anything you do right now is better than anything you could do in two
Yeah.
weeks. And I'm always like, yeah, just push something forward. Like,
A bad plan is way better than no plan.
yeah, it's always just
Yeah.
what's yeah, John McPhee says just be useful.
Yeah.
He's like, my dad used to tell me, just be
Don't
useful.
suck.
And I was like, be useful. That's actually,
Yeah.
yeah. In every situation, you're like, what could I be doing right now?
Right.
Could I be hold a broom? You know,
Yeah.
that's like me and Ace talk about Donnie. Donnie does not sit. He's always pushing a broom or something.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
and then it was like, so I was like, Ace that part and
So like
take
that,
that out.
we talk to our kids about this a lot. Like I'll tell my middle child that she did something really good, and if one of the other kids gets offended by that, I'm like, whoa, me propping them up doesn't take away from you, but to the same extent, you putting somebody down doesn't make you taller.
Yeah.
Like you're living parallel lives,
Yep.
and I don't know how. I feel like there's a lot of stuff we try to teach our kids that adults could stand to be taught.
Yep. That's where we were at on like ego, and then me and Zach were talking about it. Like you can tell when someone's cup is full based on if they have an electric fence around their heart or not. Because it's like if they're cocky and you throw something at them, like any word, it could be a compliment or a derogatory thing or like a
Right.
correction. It's like it hits that electric fence and it flares up. And
Right.
because it's a big insecurity.
Right.
But when you talk to somebody whose cup is full, that's like, I know I have holes in my game, but also love who I am. Then they don't have that. You can tell
Right.
them anything, and I do love to teach that part of it because it's like man, at the gym, I was constantly like, if somebody was like, oh, such and such had a lion eye, I'd be like, oh well, you should
Yeah.
see what we do here. Like,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
always like, dang it, yeah, I know. Like
Yeah.
that ego thing jumps in there, and such a good lesson. All right,
Stretch our legs.
yep, I do. Oh, touch the top. There you go.
Hey, I'm back.
Hey, look at this.
Hey.
He's attention to detail.
Hey. Ace
Uh,
told me what to do.
yeah, Ace is gonna be good at this. Mr. Bryan Hubbert. Should I be weird or not? Hey, I'm here with Bryan Hubbert, good friend, breakfast buddy on Saturday mornings, honorable dude. We're going to have a conversation about the 5 questions just like normal. It's going to be a good day.
Awesome.